My fiancé, female 23, lied to me, male 26, for 3 months about wanting to fix our relationship. Then cheated on me with a guy at work. This is a lengthy read, but please devote the time to it. I'd want to tell everyone about my experience. On August 22nd of this year, we got engaged. Yes, she said strongly. We shared an apartment for a while before moving into a home to rent jointly. Our relationship was going swimmingly, I reasoned. She became distant about a week after we moved in. Dismissive. I brought it up to her the night I spotted it, and she was on her phone for the most of the time I was talking to her. Remember that she was dismissive during the whole narrative I'm telling. Let's fast forward a few weeks. We had planned to celebrate her birthday by going out to eat. It wasn't yet her birthday. Just a little early celebration. I wasn't pleased at the time since we were experiencing troubles, work was challenging, and we had to put down a cat. That evening, our friends saw that I was depressed. It was here and I on the way to the next location. Get over it, she said. Just be glad for me since this is my last weekend to celebrate my birthday. That night, she became so inebriated that she required medical assistance and I had to call an ambulance. She eventually told me I was stupid for doing it and that I didn't have to. Her home state is Ohio. We used to go there a lot to see her relatives. When we went that weekend, she was dismissive once again. She wasn't saying anything to me, and she wasn't really touching. The final night we were there, I burst into tears. I was afraid she was going to abandon me. When she noticed me sobbing, she quickly remarked, "We need a break," and later that night, she informed that she's going back to Ohio to be closer to her family. This Ohio thing would be a recurring motif for her, and she intended to return with or without me. We never stopped working. We said that we need the services of a therapist. I had to search for a therapist since she would never look for one. We hadn't had any up to this point, maybe in a month. When I got home from work one day, I informed her that this needed to change. She said that she did not want to have with me, that she is showing an interest in other men. I assumed she wasn't cheating on me since she was forthright about the other people. She didn't want to tell me which men, but she eventually revealed one of her coworkers. We went on a date once to attempt to rekindle things. I saw it when she texted her partner, "I would rather be with you, but I have to remain here and act like I wanted to be in this relationship." I called her out on it, and she made up this nonsense. Another time, she became irritated with me and punched me in the face. Then she stated she wasn't sorry for it and I was an emotional wreck, which is why she won't have with me. She went on a ladies' excursion on November 19th. I asked her to check in the night before. At the very least, assure me she's okay. I didn't care who she was or what she was up to. All she needed to know was that she was okay. She was never able to. At 2 a.m., I had to ask her. She said that she was. The next day, she returned, saying they were going out with the bar staff and that a man attempted to pick her up. I found it unusual that she hadn't told me that the night before. Usually, she would. I was skeptical, so I checked her phone. I discovered that she shared a Snapchat photo of herself and her buddies naked to another man. I called her out on it, and she quickly accused me of being strange and creepy for looking through her phone. She then exited and went to a friend's place. We split up for a few hours, but I somehow got her back after she begged us to work things out and visit the therapist we had arranged to see. We haven't even attempted counseling yet, she says. So I started putting things together after that. Around Thanksgiving, she began staying late at work, leaving her engagement ring in the vehicle when she returned home, and on December 10th, I saw she was texting the man at work. We traveled to the city on December 11th, and I saw she texted him a few times that day as well. I was irritated. So I brought up all the red flags I had observed the following day, and she exclaimed, "Oh my, I'm so sorry, when you put it all like that, it sounds dreadful." This was a dialogue in which she became defensive at first, then not, then again. She said that they only chatted about work. As a result, I requested to read the texts. "Trust me, if you read those, I know how it feels," she remarked. "You'll be enraged." We had planned to have a game night and spend time together later that night. We were playing games when she glanced at her phone a few of times. She then decided she didn't want to play games anymore. She was exhausted. We sat in bed so I could watch television, and she sat perpendicular to me. I saw her feverishly swiping through her phone, and I knew she was hunting for images. I'm thinking to myself, she's giving this man nudes right next to me. Her feet were on top of me. Her phone is charging next to me. I asked her if she wanted to charge her phone as she rolled over. There was no reaction. I stated 2 more things but received no answer. It sounded like it was speaking to a brick wall. I woke up an hour later, slept on the sofa, and dumped her at 7 a.m. on December 13th. She didn't put up much of a fight. She nodded and went to work. She returned later that day and handed me the ring. She admitted to me that she had been fooling about with this man at work, and that she had been lying about it. She said she didn't think about me when she did. She even wore the ring while she was having an affair with me. Everyone at work, she said, was aware that something was wrong with them. I inquired as to how long it had been going on. She said she didn't know, but it might be weeks. She later told me, I didn't have with him, at least not yet. She couldn't look at me for the whole of the chat, and she didn't apologize. After our chat, I walked upstairs to contact individuals. I went back down. She had left her perfume and hair in the shower and then proceeded to have with this man. I also knew where she was supposed to stay, but she wasn't there. That was the last straw. That was our final in-person discussion. Throughout the 3 months, she would make difficulties, I would want to go, and she would fight back and say, we can solve it. She became irritated if I was angry or depressed. She did it because she stated she felt guilty for feeling this way, and that it was affecting her. In addition, she was disdainful. She didn't inquire about me, and her friends didn't speak to me much anymore. She made it seem as though I was the issue. She wouldn't kiss me or even cuddle with me. She'd stay up late on her phone, not talking to me. In retrospect, this was the worst 3 months of my life. I despised it and was quite miserable as a result. She was aware of this, and she was aware that I was battling for her. She didn't care about me. Deep within, I know she cheated on me for the first time in September. I also have a strong suspicion she had with him before. Now it's all over. I can be content. What this lady did to me will leave a scar on my body for the rest of my life. I can recover and reclaim my identity. I'm furious, upset, and puzzled as of today's post. But I immediately feel better since she's no longer causing me pain. I'll never let a lady take advantage of my affection and lie to me about anything. I'm happy now that she's gone. Story 2. Just found out my mother, 48 female, cheated on my father, 59 male. How to deal with the anger. I, 20 female, returned home from work a few days ago to find my sister distraught. She instructed me to contact my parents right away. When I contact my mother, she cries and confesses, I cheated on your father. For a quick recap, my mom has done this previously. My parents split almost 13 years ago because my mother had an affair with another lady. I was too small to remember anything. All I recall is my father being visibly upset and my mother always sobbing for years after. They reconciled when I was around 11 years old. Since then, my mother has been in a perpetual loop of telling everyone she is leaving my father but never really doing so. Last year around this time, Mother informed all of my siblings and her friends that she was finally done. I encouraged her to go since they were never a good fit. She remained and vowed that things would be different today. My mom has a tendency to be quite self-centered. We've always had a strained relationship because I despise her for a variety of reasons, most notably how she abuses my father. My father takes care of everything for her. Every night, she cleans up after herself, pays all of her bills, and prepares supper. My mom earns a nice income as a nurse and can spend it on anything she wants. The rage I felt as a result of seeing it has eaten away at me. If you confront her, she will either weep or get highly defensive. This is the final straw for me with her. She didn't even confess to my father. He had to dig through a pile of garbage she'd left by her bed to find a hotel receipt. I cannot explain how angry I feel. My father is a man I adore. My mother seems to be a selfish, immature excuse for an adult. At the same time, I know that's not the case. Of course, my mother has amazing qualities, but I don't care about those right now. My older siblings aren't as irritated as I am. Is there a problem with me? Is it possible that I'll come to regret being so harsh on my mother? I feel it's important to note that my main priority is supporting my father any way I can. He is almost 60 and both his parents have passed away. He's an amazing father. I just don't want to spend my life as someone who hates their mother.